Currently we are in section 4 and we are about to check out the second video of this section. So in this section, we are going to design the two screens of our application. The first screen will be the note list screen. For the sake of simplicity, again we have to break it down into smaller pieces, such that the outermost widget will be the material app, which contains home as scaffold. Then we have the app bar, and down below we have the list view. Also, we have a floating action button down below at the bottom. Now, each of the item of the list view can be broken down into again smaller pieces, such as we have the list tile, which is enclosed within a card-like structure. So we will wrap our list tile within the card widget, which will contain the leading icon, the trailing icon, the title and also the subtitle. Pretty simple, isn't it? And we will apply margin and padding as applicable. At any point of time, if you feel lazy to code, then you can get the code from GitHub. So here, this is my fresh new application, whose name is Flutter_app. You can create this application and then within your main.dart file, import the material.dart package. Thereafter, define your main function, define run app function, and then pass a stateless widget. So down below, let us define our widget. Override the build function, return the material app widget. Define the title, remove the debug tag, define the theme, and finally define the home as our first screen, which will be a stateful widget known as the note list class. So now it is time to define our screen within our lib folder. Create the new package and name it as screens. Define notelist.dart. Also let us define our second screen named as notedetail.dart. Let us start creating our first screen, which appears to be like this. Define our note list stateful widget. Override the create state method and then return its state, which I will create it down below here. Further, override the build method. Now these are all the basic steps which needs no explanation, because we have already seen all of these steps in our previous sections. So now let us define our root element as the scaffold, which will contain the app bar and also the list view. So here define the scaffold, define our app bar, define the title. So now right after this app bar which has the title of notes, down below we have the list view. So let us define that as well. So as a body, get the list view. So for that I will again call a function which returns a list view, and then create this function down below here. Now within this function, let us define a text style and then return the list view by using the builder function. Well, how to implement the list view we have already seen in our previous section. Remember? So here let us code it right away. Define the item count, the variable of count, which I will define it shortly here. Initially, let's make it 0. I think it is item builder, so here I will make it as item count and then define the item builder. And now if you notice within our list view, we have list item. Now each of the list item contains the card-like structure as a root element. So as a root, let us define our card within which we will have our list tile. Define the color as white, provide it some elevation, and then declare your list tile. Now within the list tile, if you notice, we have the leading icon as some circular shape icon. Well, in Flutter, you can get the circular shaped icon by using a special widget known as circle avatar. So here as a leading icon, I will define a circular avatar, or you can say avatar. Define its background color. For now, I will give it as by default yellow. And then define its child as an icon. So here our background color will be yellow and our icon will be this arrow, which you can find it here. Well, later on we will write code to change it dynamically as per the priority of our node, and then define the title and also the subtitle along with the trailing icon. And finally, let us define our trailing icon as the delete icon. Now on click of these items, we have to navigate to our next screen. So on our list tile, I will simply implement the onTap event handler. So here as a dummy statement, I will simply write a debug print statement, and later on I will replace it by the real code. Now this completes our code for our get node list view. Now after the body, let us define our floating action button. For now, let us write some dummy code, which we can replace later. Define the tooltip and also the child icon. So this completes our code within our build function as well. And we are referring to this nodelist class from the home property of our my application here. So here we have to import this class as well. Once you are done, run your application. So there we go, our application is now up and running. On the top we have our app bar, but currently our list view is empty, just because we have not added any node. Down below we have the floating action button. Well, in future our application will look like this. Well, now it is time to design our next screen known as node detail screen. For the sake of simplicity, we can again break down the UI into smaller pieces. So as a root element, we will again have the material app widget which contains home as scaffold. Then we have the app bar, then we have the list view which contains further elements, such as the first element will be the drop down button. Then we will have the second element as the text field. Third element again as text field. Now the last element of the list view will be a row that further contains two elements, which you can find it within your green box. Well, these will be the raised button. And of course, we will apply margin and padding as applicable. Well, all of these UI elements we have already seen in our previous sections. So I just have to write code and show it to you how our code is structured. So now navigate to nodedetail.dart and then write the basic structural code. Create the stateful widget of nodeDetail and then define its state. Override the build function and then define our application bar with title of edit node. So for that, within our scaffold, we will declare our app bar. Now after the app bar, we have our list view, which further contains the drop down button as a first element. So right after the app bar, we will define the body as our list view. And we will wrap our list view within the padding widget. And then define our child as list view. Well, this list view will be a static list view that contains smaller amount of elements. So here I will define the children as the array of widgets, where the first element will be the drop down button. Now for the drop down, we have to provide some elements, which user can select from the drop down menu item. So here let us define our static variable of priorities, which will be high and low, and then use it within our drop down as the items. And then finally convert it to list. Provide the style. Well, let us define the text style here just within the build function. And then continue coding for our drop down menu items, such as define the default value as low and then modify the onChanged event handler, that is what should happen when the user select any item. For now I will just call the set state function and keep it empty. Now the code for drop down button we have already seen in our previous section, so I don't have to explain it what's going on here. Now our next two element will be the text field. So let us define them one by one. So for that, first we have to define our text editing controller. right within our nodeDetailState class. This will be used for editing the values. Well, these two will be used for controlling the values entered by the user. So as a second element, so right after our list style, let us define our second element. For now, I will use null as the dummy event handler for the onChanged event. Also, let us decorate our text field. So this completes our code for the second element, which is our text field of title controller. Now let us copy it and paste it for our third element, which will be again our description text field. So this will be our third element. Let us modify the code accordingly. Looks great. Now our last element will be a row which contains two raised buttons further. So down below as a fourth element, let us define a row wrapped within our padding. And now as a first element of the row, we will have our first raised button of save. So let us define children here, where our first element will be the raised button. I will wrap them within the expanded widget so that they acquire the equal space. And then define your onPressed attribute. Right now again I will write some dummy statement. And then similarly let us add our delete button. So for that I will copy this part, expanded widget till here, and paste it as a second element of the row here. Once you are done, modify the code. And in between these two buttons, let us give some spacing by adding a container of width 5.0. Give a comma and we are pretty done. We have successfully added all of these widgets in our screen. So now it is time to test our application by running it within our emulator. So within our main.dart, instead of using notelist, let us use nodeDetail. Later on we will change it to notelist, but right now we want to test our UI. Once you are done, run your application. Looks perfect, isn't it? Well, it matches with our target application. And at any point of time, if you face any difficulty, then make sure